Have you ever had one of those days where everything looks fine on the outside, but for some reason you just feel off? Like something's missing, but you can't quite put your finger on it? You've checked your to-do list, hit your goals, maybe even treated yourself to your favorite coffee, but there's still this quiet feeling that something deeper is out of sync. What if I told you that the thing you're missing, the real key to long-term happiness, isn't more success, more money, or more time off? In fact, it's something so simple, so quietly powerful that many people completely overlook it. But once you understand it, it changes the way you live, think, and connect with the world around you. And the best part? You don't need to spend a dime, wait for a big life change, or read a dozen self-help books to start feeling it. Here's the truth. The key to happiness isn't found in achieving more. It's found in meaning. And most people are chasing the wrong things because they've never been shown how to find meaning in their everyday life. That's what we're diving into today. In this video, I'm going to share a simple but powerful idea that's backed by science, rooted in real-life experience, and totally doable for anyone. We'll walk through a clear, three-part framework to help you reconnect with what really matters, so you can feel more grounded, fulfilled, and yes, smarter every single day. Now don't worry, I'm not going to throw vague advice or cheesy motivational slogans at you. This is all about practical shifts you can actually try. We'll talk about the surprising reason why people feel stuck or restless even when life is going fine. And I'll share a mindset tweak that's like flipping a light switch in your brain. We'll also explore a few powerful, low-effort ways to bring more meaning into your routine, even if you're busy, burned out, or not sure where to start. But let's begin with something we rarely talk about openly: how chasing happiness can sometimes make us less happy. Think about it. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to upgrade, optimize, hustle harder, or chase the next big thing. New job, new car, new habits, new goals. But chasing those things without asking why can leave us stuck in a cycle that looks impressive on the outside, but feels hollow on the inside. It's like climbing a ladder that's leaning against the wrong wall. What I've learned, and what research keeps proving, is that happiness doesn't come from getting more stuff, more likes, or even more praise. It comes from doing things that align with who you are and what you value. And I get it. When you're busy surviving the day-to-day, that idea can sound a little abstract, but it's not. Here's a quick story. A friend of mine had what most people would call a dream life. Great job, solid income, loving family. But every time we talked, he'd mention feeling kind of lost, like he was drifting through life on autopilot. So one day I asked him a simple question. When was the last time you did something that felt meaningful? Not productive, not efficient, but meaningful. He couldn't remember. That moment hit him like a ton of bricks, and it completely shifted how he started showing up in his life. Meaning doesn't require a grand purpose or a life-changing mission. It can be found in small, intentional actions, like helping a friend, creating something with your hands, or just being present with your kid instead of checking your phone. It's the difference between feeling like you're just existing and feeling like you're truly alive. So here's where we're headed. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through the first key part of this idea, the mindset shift that opens the door to real, lasting happiness. Then we'll move into how to apply it in your daily routine with simple, science-backed practices. And by the end of this, you'll have a framework that can genuinely help you feel more connected, less anxious, and more in control of your life. Because once you stop chasing surface-level satisfaction and start creating meaning on purpose, everything starts to change. So, let's get into the first real shift, the mindset that flips the script on how most of us think about happiness. And it starts with a question that might seem simple at first, but don't brush it off. What actually matters to you? Not what looks good on a resume, not what other people expect from you, not what seems like the right answer. I mean you, at your core. If that question made you pause for a second, good. That's where the shift begins. See, most of us are conditioned to chase things that we're told will make us happy. Money, success, approval, even constant productivity. But those things, while useful, aren't the foundation. They're bonuses. Happiness, real happiness, comes when your time, your energy, and your values are in sync. And when they're not, That's when we start to feel anxious, lost, or like something's missing even when everything looks fine. Let me give you something real you can try. It's a tiny but powerful habit I call the meaning check-in. Once a day, literally just once, pause and ask yourself this: is what I'm doing right now connected to something that matters to me? That's it. You don't need to stop everything or make dramatic changes. Just notice. When you start asking that one question regularly, you start tuning into what actually fulfills you. And once you're tuned in, you can start making little shifts that bring more of that into your life. It might mean saying no to a task that drains you, or yes to a small moment that fills your cup. Like calling someone you love or spending 10 minutes on a creative hobby you've been neglecting. Over time, these small shifts stack up. They build a life that feels meaningful, not just looks good on paper. And here's the wild part. When people do this consistently, they often report feeling less stressed, more focused, and even smarter. Yep, smarter. Why? Because when your mind isn't constantly juggling empty tasks or chasing goals that don't matter to you, it can finally think clearly. You're not running in circles anymore. You're moving with purpose. Now let's talk about another key piece of this puzzle: contribution. And no, I don't mean making some huge sacrifice or giving up all your free time to volunteer. I mean showing up in a way that adds value to your relationships, your community, your world, even in tiny doses. Humans are wired to want to matter, to feel useful, to feel like we're part of something bigger than just ourselves. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Helping someone solve a problem, sharing what you know, listening, really listening to a friend. These things might seem small, but they light up the part of our brain that says, yes, this is who I want to be. They connect us to others. They remind us that we're not just here to consume life, we're here to contribute to it. And if that sounds a little abstract, here's a quick, easy way to test it for yourself. Do one thing this week, just one, that helps someone else. Doesn't matter how small, then pay attention to how you feel afterward. Odds are, you'll notice a little spark of energy, a shift in your mood, maybe even a sense of peace. That's meaning in action. That's the quiet kind of happiness no one talks about enough. And when you start combining that awareness, the daily check-in about what matters to you, with even tiny moments of contribution, something incredible happens. You stop feeling like life is just happening to you and start feeling like you're actively creating it. That's the power of this framework. It's not about a massive life overhaul or becoming some kind of perfect person. It's about small, intentional moves that pull you closer to the life you actually want. And the amazing part, you're probably closer than you think. Let's keep going, because in the next part, we're going to talk about something that completes this framework. It's the glue that holds meaning, contribution, and happiness together. And without it, the whole thing falls apart. But with it, you build a life that feels full, rich, and honestly, way more joyful than you thought possible. Okay, so we've talked about the power of knowing what really matters to you and how even tiny acts of contribution can spark a deeper kind of happiness. But there's one more piece, one that most people completely overlook, and yet it's the glue that holds everything together. Now, I know be present is one of those phrases that gets tossed around so much that it's easy to tune out. But stick with me, because I'm not talking about sitting cross-legged in silence for hours or pretending you don't have a million things on your mind. What I'm talking about is the ability to actually be where you are while you're there. Think about it. Have you ever been in the middle of something good, spending time with friends, eating your favorite meal, watching a sunset, and suddenly realized you weren't really there? Your body was sure, but your mind was somewhere else, worrying about tomorrow, replaying a conversation from earlier, scrolling through stuff that didn't really matter. And that's not your fault, by the way. We live in a world that's constantly trying to pull our attention away from the moment we're in. But here's the thing. You can't feel happiness in the past, and you can't feel it in the future. You can only feel it right now. So if your mind is always somewhere else, you're literally skipping over the only place happiness can exist. But the good news? Reclaiming that presence is easier than you think. Start small. Try something I call one real moment a day. That's it, just one. For a few minutes, do something you enjoy and give it your full attention. No phone, no multitasking, no mental checklists. It could be drinking your coffee while just drinking your coffee, watching the rain fall, laughing with a friend. Let yourself fully feel it. That's not fluff. That's training your brain to actually experience your life instead of rushing through it. Because the more present you are, the more you notice the good stuff. The more you feel those moments of meaning and connection. It's like switching from a blurry lens to HD. Everything gets sharper, deeper, more alive. And something else happens too. You start to build resilience. When you're present, you don't just feel joy more deeply. You also deal with hard things more calmly. You become more grounded, less reactive, and more in tune with what actually matters. And that kind of clarity, that's a game changer. Now let's zoom out for a second. When you combine these three ingredients, living in alignment with your values, contributing to something beyond yourself, and being fully present, you're not just chasing happiness anymore. You're creating it intentionally, sustainably. And it doesn't require a perfect life, a perfect schedule, or perfect mental health. It just requires small, consistent moments of awareness and choice. So if you've been feeling a little disconnected, like something's off or missing, maybe this is your sign to stop searching out there and start reconnecting in here. Here's what I want you to remember. You don't need to become someone else to be happy. You just need to come home to yourself, what you care about, how you contribute, and how present you are in your own life. And look, nobody does this perfectly. I mess it up all the time. But the point isn't to nail it, it's to notice, to keep coming back. That's where the magic is. So now I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me, what's one small thing that brings meaning to your day? Or what's one way you want to show up more fully in your life this week? Let's learn from each other, support each other, and grow together. If this video gave you something to think about, or even just a moment to breathe, go ahead and give it a like. And if you want more content that helps you feel smarter, stronger, and more grounded, make sure to subscribe. We've got so much more coming your way. And hey, whatever your day looks like from here, just remember, happiness doesn't have to be loud or flashy. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's found in the smallest moments, but it's always closer than you think. You've got this.